The room is quiet. She didn't mean to freeze, it just happened. Her hands stop in midair, as if her body realized something before her mind had the chance to name it. Her eyes lift, not to look at him, but to look at the moment, to feel it. There's a shift inside her, small, invisible, unmistakable. Not anger, not sadness, recognition. A truth landing all at once, soft, heavy, undeniable. And he keeps talking, the way someone does when they don't know they just changed everything. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't ask him to explain. She just breathes. And in that breath, something in her closes, quietly, gently, completely. This is the moment she'll remember. Some words hurt more than insults. And the worst part? They're usually the ones said with kindness. You deserve someone better. I just need a little time. It's not you, it's me. Sounds soft, feels like a punch to the chest. You've been there, haven't you? They say they care and then vanish. Say they need space and never return. Say you're amazing, but somehow still leave you feeling disposable. And your body? It doesn't hear time, it hears end. It doesn't hear you're special, it hears you weren't enough. But before you jump into the comments calling this overly sensitive, let me ask you something. When was the last time someone said something gentle and it messed with your head for days? You thought you misunderstood, that you were too emotional, that maybe you took it personally, but your chest still tightened. Your mind wouldn't let it go. The silence after that kind phrase echoed louder than the words themselves, because the sentence felt new. But the pain it triggered, that was old. We don't just react to words, we react to the emotional wounds they hit. You're too sensitive, they say. But how could you not feel it when their words touch the exact spot you've spent years trying to protect? And that's what this is about. Why sentences that seem harmless can shatter someone. Why it's not just women who feel it. It's anyone with a nervous system and a past. A harmless phrase that starts the storm. It's not you, it's me. Sounds mature, thoughtful. But the mind doesn't hear logic. It hears, you weren't enough. These phrases are packaged to sound polite, but underneath, they leave the person on the other end spiraling. They're meant to make it easier. But what they actually do is cut without leaving a clear scar. You can't even point to the exact wound, but you feel it deep. And that's the danger of these so-called gentle exits. They don't give answers. They leave blanks, and the brain hates blanks, so it fills them in with shame, with self-blame, with the exhausting thought loop of, what did I do wrong? We've been taught to trust words, to believe that if someone says, I care, they do. That if they say, I'm not ready, it's about timing, not you. But words lie, or worse, they distract. They mask what someone can't process, name, or carry emotionally. So what sounds like a soft goodbye feels more like being ghosted with a smile. You deserve more than I can give. I'm not in the right place. You're amazing, just not for me. Those sound respectful, but they leave the other person alone in their head. No closure, no clarity, just a swirl of, why wasn't I enough? And it's not just women who go through this. Men go silent too. They hold it in. They walk away without knowing how to explain what just cracked inside them. Women cry, vent, question themselves. But both are hurting, just in different languages. Because what we're actually dealing with here is emotional ambiguity. And ambiguity is poison for the nervous system. And when that silence follows the gentle phrase, when hours turn into days without follow-up, that's when the real damage happens. The phrase starts the pain, but the silence confirms it. It's not you, it's me. I need space. You're great, but these aren't just sentences. They're emotional fog machines, and most people get lost in them. It's not a lack of love. It's nervous systems trying to survive confusion. If you saw yourself in any of this, if this hit you somewhere real, hit that subscribe button now. Seriously, don't wait until the next heartbreak to finally understand what's happening inside you, and send this video to someone you know who's been left hanging by polite words, someone who's still trying to decode a sentence that never made sense. Because next we're going to break down what really happens in the brain when emotional words feel like emotional warfare. When the brain hears a threat, not a sentence, you hear, "I just need some space." But your body hears, "You're about to be left." It sounds irrational, right? Like an overreaction. But it's not. It's your nervous system doing its job. And its job isn't to decode polite language. It's to scan for danger. Because the words don't go through your logic first. They go straight to your emotional brain, your limbic system, the part wired for survival, not understanding. And if your system has a history of emotional abandonment, it doesn't matter how softly someone says, "I need time." Your body still prepares for impact. "I'm confused. I just need to figure things out. I don't want to hurt you." These aren't just phrases. They're alarms. If your past has taught you that confusion usually ends in goodbye. Here's what most people don't realize. Rejection, emotionally, lights up the same pain centers in the brain as physical injury. So yeah, being told, "I don't know what I want," can hit like a punch, even if it's whispered gently. This isn't drama, it's science. It's your system remembering past pain and going into full alert mode. You're not overreacting, you're remembering. Maybe it reminds you of a parent who disappeared emotionally, or the ex who said, "I just need time," and never came back, or all the people who said they cared, but backed out the moment you needed consistency. So now when someone says something vague or uncertain, your mind doesn't wait to see what happens. It jumps straight to panic. It fills in the blanks. Because ambiguity feels like danger to a brain wired by emotional wounds. And that's what makes these conversations so messy. You're not reacting to this person. You're reacting to the echo of everyone who left you in limbo. That's why even the nicest sentences can break you. Not because they're harsh, but because they activate something much older. You're being too sensitive. You're making a big deal out of nothing. You're overthinking. No, you're protecting yourself. From the silence you know is coming. From the distance that always follows these words. From the feeling of being left hanging, again. You don't fear the phrase. You fear what always came next. Because even when someone says they'll come back, your body already knows what happens next. It hurts. Real scenes. Real people. Real chaos. She checks her phone again. Last message, 8 hours ago. He's online. He saw it. Still nothing. Her heart's racing. She tells herself to play it cool, but her fingers are cold, her breath's uneven, and her mind's running wild. He said, "I just need a little time for myself." But what does that even mean? Should she give space, reach out, wait, move on? On the other side, he opens the chat, starts typing, stops, deletes, closes the app. He's overwhelmed too. But he's more afraid of saying the wrong thing than staying silent. At work, she smiles at her screen, but she's not fine. She's stuck in last night's conversation. "You're amazing. I'm just not ready." She replays the moment in her head. Was I too open? Too affectionate? Did I say too much? He thinks the silence is giving her clarity. She feels like she's being erased. And this is the emotional loop no one talks about. The brain doesn't leave blank spaces. It fills them with fear. He thinks he's being gentle. She feels like she's being discarded. She thinks she's being patient. He feels like he's being cornered. Nobody's talking, but everyone's spiraling. She writes a long message, then deletes it. Doesn't want to come off as clingy, even though all she wants is to feel safe again. He's tired but can't explain why. Can't say, "I'm scared too." So he withdraws. Both are protecting themselves. but from each other. And this is the chaos. When people stop communicating to avoid conflict, they create deeper wounds than any argument ever could. Words get shorter. Yeah, sure, IDK. And the mind takes over, trying to decode what's happening between the lines. Because sometimes what breaks you isn't what they said, it's what they didn't say. The sentence ends, but the echo lasts for days. You keep trying to figure out, did I miss something? Was it me? Why did everything feel so good until it didn't? And the truth is, you're not crazy, you're not needy, you're just human, and humans crave closure. But polite breakups rarely give it. So the story plays on loop, and everything unsaid becomes louder than what was. The silence doesn't always mean I don't love you. Sometimes it means I don't want to hurt you. But here's the twist. The person trying to protect you with silence is often the one hurting you the most. Because for the one on the other end, silence doesn't feel like kindness. It feels like rejection. They don't feel protected. They feel abandoned. The intention may be to keep things calm, to not make it worse, to figure things out in peace. But silence, in moments of emotional uncertainty, isn't peace for the other person. It's torment. You're left alone with your thoughts, alone with your fears, alone with your imagination, creating every worst-case scenario possible. And the saddest part? You're both hurting, just in different ways. He goes quiet because he doesn't know how to talk about what he feels. She keeps asking questions because silence feels like erasure. She's not trying to control. She's trying not to disappear. He's not trying to punish. He just doesn't know how to show up without losing himself. And in this emotional misfire, what could have been connection becomes damage. He thinks leaving her alone is better than saying something he'll regret. She thinks he's already left emotionally. She rereads their last conversation, looks for signs, tries to convince herself it's just space, not distance. But the nervous system doesn't understand nuance. It understands patterns. And when silence used to mean they're gone, that's how it registers now, again. He thinks he's protecting her. She thinks he's disappearing. Both are wrong, and both are right. Because what we're really watching here is two nervous systems trying to stay safe, instead of trying to stay close. The silence isn't always a no. Sometimes it's just fear disguised as distance. But if no one speaks up, the other person fills in the blanks. And usually, with the worst possible story. She's not needy. She's scared to lose connection. You've probably said it. She's too much. She's always texting. She needs constant reassurance. But what if that neediness you see isn't about control? What if it's about fear? She doesn't blow up your phone because she's desperate. She does it because the silence sounds like goodbye. She doesn't ask where you've been because she's nosy. She asks because she's trying to keep a connection that feels like it's slipping through her fingers. You see pressure. She feels panic. And it's not about you. It's about what came before you. Every time someone ghosted her, every time someone said, "I care," and then vanished, her nervous system logged it. So now when you say, "I need space," her body hears, "He's leaving." She's not irrational. She's remembering. And sure, she may be asking too many questions, sending too many texts, overthinking every delay. But it's not about insecurity in the moment. It's about past trauma waking up in real time. People don't chase because they're clingy. They chase because they've learned love disappears quietly. And yeah, she knows it might push you away. She knows it might make her look crazy. But her system is in survival mode. And survival doesn't care about pride. On the other side, you're overwhelmed. You feel like you're being smothered, and your instinct is to pull back. But here's the real story. You're both reacting to fear, just in opposite directions. She leans in because she's afraid you'll leave. You lean out because you're afraid you'll drown. And this is where relationships go sideways. Two people trying to survive emotions that neither of them learned how to talk about. What looks like drama is usually someone begging not to be abandoned again. And what looks like detachment is often someone trying not to collapse under emotional pressure. The behavior might look messy, but the pain behind it is very real. When you start seeing it this way, you stop taking it personally and start realizing it's not about being too much, it's about never having felt safe enough. Translate behavior. Words always show up late. They said, "I'm just busy," but they watched all your stories. They said, "I care about you." But they disappeared the moment things got real. They said, "It's nothing personal," but it felt personal, deeply. Here's the truth. Words don't tell the whole story. Behavior does. People don't always say what they feel, but they always show it. And most of the time, they show it early, in the hesitation, in the delayed responses, in the dry, "I'm tired" texts that come after emotional intimacy. The problem is, we're trained to hold on to what they say instead of what they actually do. So we wait, and hope, and rationalize. He's just overwhelmed. She probably didn't mean it like that. They'll come around eventually, but their behavior keeps speaking, and it's usually screaming, "This is not what you think it is." The truth is, you already knew. You felt it in the pit of your stomach, but your heart was busy translating hope into fiction. They'll say, "I love you," but won't show up. They'll say, "Let's talk soon," and never reach out. They'll say, "I don't want to hurt you," while actively hurting you with avoidance, because words are cheap. Behavior is the real language of emotion. That's why you need to stop chasing clarity in someone's words and start paying attention to the data in their actions. How do they show up when it's uncomfortable? How do they react when you express a need? How consistent are they when there's nothing in it for them? The answers are all there. And if you keep ignoring them, you'll keep getting burned by words that sounded sweet, but covered up emotional neglect. So here it is, the line that might hurt a little, but might also finally set you free. Translate behavior. Words always show up late. What hurts most isn't what was said, it's what your soul heard. You read that last message 100 times, trying to find the tone, the intention, the meaning between the lines. But what stuck with you wasn't the sentence. It was the feeling it left behind, that ache in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that invisible voice whispering, "You weren't enough." Even when the words were soft, even when they said they cared, even when they swore, "It's not about you." Your body remembered something they couldn't see. And this is the part no one talks about. Words don't land on neutral ground. They land on your history, on the wounds you haven't touched in years, on the versions of you that were never heard, on the fears that still breathe beneath your skin. It's not that you're overreacting, it's that your nervous system is still on alert, still trying to keep you safe, still asking, "Will I be left again?" And that's what hurts. Not the actual phrase, but the emotional story it triggered inside you. It was never just about what they said, it was about what you felt before they even said it. So what now? Now, you pause. You stop blaming them for what woke up in you, and you start listening to that inner voice that's been waiting to be heard. Because yeah, people will say the wrong thing, or nothing at all, but you can learn to hear yourself more clearly through all of it. When you understand the story behind your reaction, you stop needing everyone else to explain themselves. You start creating emotional safety from the inside out, and that changes everything. Because once you learn to translate your own pain, you begin to speak with presence, with empathy, with clarity, and you stop tolerating half-love, vague words, and empty promises. So if this hit you somewhere deep, if you want to understand the human mind without filters, subscribe to the channel. Seriously, don't wait for another "I need space" to fall apart again. Click subscribe. And let's keep making the invisible visible, because next time, we're going even deeper. What if the silence that hurt the most was your own?